Also, the Darley July Cup is our Group 1 contest, the British Champions Series as well. For the Sprint division, number 1 is Artorius for Jamie Spencer. Third, strong finishing, Allah bless him, at Ascot. He comes from the back, gets out paced, like a good pace to run at. 2, Black Rod non-runner. 3, Creative Force, just touched off at Royal Ascot, William Buick. 4, Emiratiana, Tom Eves. 5, Naval Crown, who turned the tables from last year's Royal Ascot with Creative Force. 6 is Alcohol Free, Rob Hornby. 7, Double or Bubble, Jack Mitchell. 8, Happy Romance, Sean Levy. 9 is Romantic Proposal for Ireland. We heard from Chris Hayes a little earlier. Edward Lynham trains. 10 is Cadamosto, Shamie Heffen, another Irish runner, this time for Aidan O'Brien. 11, Flaming Rib, who was supplemented early in the week to run in this, Ben Curtis. 12, King Hermes for Japan, and Yoshito Yahagi, who has travelled around the world with lots of success. Rusei Osaki is in the saddle. 13, Perfect Power, Christophe Soumillon struck up such a great association with Richard Fahey's sprinter. And 14, Twilight Jet for Lee Roach. Just the one absentee, Black Rod, the clash of the generations for the Darley July Cup. Let's see some horses with Sally Ann.
Oh, Twilight Jet, Michael O'Callaghan was so confident about this horse ahead of Royal Ascot, and he was so disappointing. It was too bad to be true, and thankfully he did scope dirty afterwards. He's come out of that well, he's worked well at home, and he's in really good form, so Michael O'Callaghan's very confident about him at a bigger price. Then for the Eddie Lynham team, Romantic Proposal. There's lovely Mary. See, she's just a little bit on her toes. We'll give her plenty of space. She wasn't well. Her bloods wasn't great before Royal Ascot, so she didn't run. She has had a bit of a time off, but she's a really lovely mare. She's by Ravens Pass. She goes well fresh. She hasn't run since she won a listed at Naas over 5 furlongs, and she did win the Group 1 Flying 5 last year, of course, from A Case of You. She's a lovely, lovely mare. Talking of mares, another one, we've got 8, Happy Romance for Richard Hannon team. She's a daughter of Dandyman, and Sean Levy, who's already had a winner on the board, will be in the saddle on board her. She has a real live chance as well. And then the one that lots of people are coming to see, he's been really well behaved. I watched him come across the track earlier, come off the horse box. Perfect Power, strolling around here before he takes on the older horses. He's looking really well. Look at him, so laid back. He's such a nice horse. 3-year-old son of Ardad, who of course stands at Overbury Stud for just £12,500 this year. This is his first crop, of course. Perfect Power is flying the flag for him. He was a high-class juvenile sprinter himself, including winning the Flying Childers. And this horse has won the Norfolk, the Morney and the Middle Park at 2. His only bad run is when he didn't stay the mile in the Guineas. We'll see what he's like when he takes on the older horses. We'll drop past. As the jockeys come into the parade ring, Alcohol Free follows in that red hood with the cross noseband. She's come back at the sprinting distance today. And following on from her, the 2 Godolphin horses. First leading them just a little bit on his toes now since he came off. He was sweaty when he came off the horse box over across the track when I saw him come off. This is number 3, Creative Force, 4-year-old son of Dubarry Gelding. Cost 400,000 as a yearling. He was 5th in this last year, beaten 2 lengths. He won the Champion Sprint in October, and he was the next second behind Naval Crown, won his group. And of course, finishing up with Naval Crown. Naval Crown is a 4-year-old son of Dubarry. He'll be ridden by James Doyle. He won the Platinum Jubilee from Creative Force by a neck. That was his first start on British soil. And they had the same 1-2 in the Jersey Stakes at Royal Ascot. He's had only 2 runs over 6 furlongs. He's 4th in the Alquaz Sprint before the Platinum Jubilee.
Well, I'm joined here at Newmarket by the ambassador to Japan, Haishi Hajime. First of all, Ambassador, I think on behalf of everyone at ITV, we'd like to send condolences to your nation for the horrific events of yesterday.
Thank you very much for quite warm words of condolences and sympathy. We particularly have a strong sadness and enormous shocks with regard to what happened yesterday in Japan.
It's a different day, and of course you're here to support the Japanese horse King Hermes in the July Cup. Japan has been so dominant on the world stage in horse racing over the last 2 or 3 years. This is another big opportunity.
Well, but first of all, I'd like to underline that Japan and the UK have wonderful history of collaboration on horse breedings as well as horse racing for many years, or even more than decades. And consequently, Japanese horses are growing and strong, being stronger. And we are very happy to participate interested in today's race or others and try to show the result of horse breeding to the people here in the United Kingdom.
King Hermes has been running at a mile today. He must go sprinting. How would you sum up his chance?
Well, I very much hope that he will have good chances to win. Of course, that depends upon all other horses. So I look forward to seeing the races coming and hope to see a wonderful result coming out.
It's an honor to have you here today. Hope you have a good one.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
And there is the Japanese raider, trained by Yoshito Yahagi, who really has burst onto the scene of late, certainly in our eyes, winning those 2 Breeders' Cup races, the Dubai Turf as well. Meanwhile at York, the result stands. Anne Mart has won the John Smith's Cup, and we'll hopefully hear from Kevin Stott in our closing show. And the ITV7, as a result of Anne Mart's win at York, has not been won today. No winner of the 50 grand. There's Charlie Appleby with his 2 runners, the blue cap Creative Force, the white James Darley and Naval Crown. If you'd been Will Buick, Jason Weaver, would you have stuck with Creative Force despite that defeat in the Platinum Jubilee when Naval Crown pulled so far clear of the horses on the near side?
Well, if I was, I would have switched. But look, there's not a great deal between them, and I think this is nearly a bit of a friendship thing between the 2 men. They often talk about them being an absolute team for the boys in blue and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, and I think it's one of those situations. We still don't know how good Naval Crown can be at this distance. That is absolute key. He's just getting a little bit warm.
Naval Crown, the victor that day, alcohol-free amongst the horses behind, in the colours of Jeff Smith, who won this in 1984 with Chief Singer. Let's talk about the Australian Raider here, Leona. Brilliant to see Newgate, China Horse Club and their partners running Artorias, who was 3rd in that Platinum Jubilee. Could he become the first Australian winner of the July Cup?
I think the huge negative for him is the track, isn't it? I mean, especially as they've been going well from the front end here. He was slowly away on this occasion and he did all his late work at the end, and it was good to see him making up loads of ground, running on well. If he's tardy here, he's going to be out the back. It's just not going to run to suit. That's my reservation.
Jamie Spencer just got his eye in on Bless Him, didn't he? That's what you want. If you want your striker coming on, you're going to leg him up. He's just won. He then, when they're discussing tactics, I'm sure he's thinking, boy, am I so lucky. I've landed in stall number 12. Naval Crown is next door in 13. You'd be thinking, well, he's the horse who's going to tow us along. He's the probable front runner in the lineup, so he's going to get the right part of the track anyway.
Choisir came so close. Can Anthony and Sam Friedman pull it off with Jamie Spencer, who hasn't won a UK Group 1 since the 2011 Gold Cup, with fame and glory? Okay, guys, let's talk about the favourite. Leona, you're mad keen on Perfect Power, who's won 3 Group 1s already, the middle part, the Pre-Morny, and the Commonwealth Cup.
Yeah.
Muharrar's the only horse to do that double. Why is he going to do it again?
Yeah, well, the main thing, we're just seeing a bit of form, but it would actually be nice to see him right now because he's actually the only horse left in the paddock. They've chosen to keep walking around. They've let everyone else go. That's by design, isn't it? Because we talked about how he can get het up. Obviously, didn't happen this day. Was nice and relaxed. Went down to post nice and relaxed. That's the key thing for this horse. We could talk about the tracks till we're blue in the face, and this plays to his strengths because he stays 6 and 7, and obviously probably not quite as advantageous here that he's got that, but they've taken a couple of turns. He's gone out last. He's only just leaving us in the paddock here, and he looks really, really nice and relaxed. And Sally Ann as well telling us beforehand they saw him coming over. He looked nice and relaxed. He was relaxed in the pre-parade. All signs to make me want to stick with my view. Okay, we'll keep a very close eye on Perfect Power, who just there is last down to post, and Christophe Soumillon looks pretty happy so far. Yes, and there is proof of that. To the horse supplemented for the race, Flaming Rib. Matt.
Hugo, you've supplemented Flaming Rib, really because you feel this horse really deserves this chance?
Yeah,
look, the horse that beat him a length and a quarter is what he was the last time I checked, the warm favourite, and this is a different track, different test. We think it'll play to our horse's strengths, and when you supplement a horse, you of course regret that you perhaps weren't in it to begin with, but he was a long way down the ratings back when this race closed. So really excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to seeing him run.
Has he a little bit surprised you just how he's moved forward this season?
I suppose when any horse improves like he has, it surprises you, but at the same time, I'm a real sort of glass half full person. I'm always looking for them to be the best they can possibly be. So actually, I normally end up disappointed when they're not as good as I dream they might be, and when they do what this lad's done, you're like, yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do. But it's good to be here. It's good to be, he's definitely got a chance, and looking forward to seeing him run.
And there's been money for number 11 there, Flaming Rib. 12-10 now, 8-1, and fair play to Messrs Dale, Dolan, Dooley and Michael Owen for having a crack, supplementing for £36,000. There's Emiratiana with his back to us, the Sprint Cup winner on the left. Twilight Jet goes through, there's Double or Bubble. Emiratiana, horse you like, Jason?
Yeah, he's such a talented, good-looking individual, and look, he was warming up nicely, wasn't he, with a great run at York, and then he won the Sprint Cup. His 2 reappearance runs, I thought he'd win early on over in Meydan, but it never, ever went for him at all. And then there was a glimmer, a bit more of a glimmer when we saw him last time. So, look, he's got 5 lengths to find, and judging by the way that he's looked in the prelims, he looks great. Now, this is fantastic. If you'd have seen the way he went to post at Newbury on his return, he was nearly unrideable. This is good. So all of the team in place at home for Richard Fahey have done a massive job, as well as Richard. They've gone last. This is all great, and I'm sure Connections will be thrilled with that.
And maturing as well. And if you're a